So I'm Jane Swift. I am incredibly honored. This is my second opportunity to introduce Senator Hassan, who is, as many of you know, the New Hampshire senator from an adjoining state. I think on a day when all of us need inspiration and a reason to feel hopeful about our institutions of government, you're in for a real treat. Senator Hassan has lived up to the promise of being a bipartisan senator at a time when it is an incredibly hard thing to do. Her goal is to help us to build stronger, more inclusive communities that give everyone access to opportunity. Fortunately for all of us gathered here today, she serves on the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, which will be looking at and hopefully reauthorizing the Higher Education Act in some future Congress. And I have heard her speak about her commitment to post-secondary training opportunities of all different types for students so that all of them can have a meaningful opportunity. The last thing I will say, because I know you want to hear from her, is I have a personal belief that it's not at all surprising that when we send a woman, and she's only the second woman to serve as both a governor and a U.S. senator, but a woman to a legislative body that is in great need of leadership, who was motivated by her own experiences as a working mother to fix a system, an education system that wasn't working for her child, that she has demonstrated extraordinary patience and wisdom and an ability to work across the aisle and be part of the solution to cleaning up the mess that has been created, not entirely, but often by some men who have come before her. And with that, I am thrilled to introduce Senator Maggie Hassan.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Jane, for that incredibly generous introduction, for your work at Learn Launch, for all the other work you've done. One of the things that Jane and I discovered a great common interest in the last time we talked was I had just gotten back from a congressional trip to Afghanistan, and Jane has been a champion for women and girls all around the world, including in Afghanistan, and I'm just incredibly grateful for your leadership, so thank you. It is certainly great to be here with all of you for this conference on strengthening innovation in education and our workforce. I think we all agree that the success of our country now and into the future depends on a workforce that is equipped to meet the challenges of a rapidly changing 21st century economy. In previous generations, it may have been possible to enter the workforce and rely on the same set of skills for decades, but that has largely changed. And we have to ensure that people have the tools and opportunities that they need to learn, adapt, and thrive in our economy. Unfortunately, far too many people face barriers towards getting the education that they need, barriers that include access to vital career training programs, including in high school, as well as higher education affordability. That limits their opportunities, and it hurts employers who need qualified employees and hurts our entire economy. Students who are willing to work hard should be given every chance to succeed, no matter the education path that they may choose, whether it's obtaining a credential or completing a degree at a community college or university. As a member of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, or HELP Committee, ensuring that all students are well prepared for their future in the workforce is a top priority for me. And as the HELP Committee considers reauthorizing the Higher Education Act, I'm going to keep advocating for several things within that act: expanding student aid, including increasing the amount of aid in a Pell Grant, streamlining the FAFSA application so that more eligible students can access student aid, and strengthening consumer protections so that students receive a high-quality higher education that arms them with the tools that they need to pursue a career. In addition to those efforts, I'd like to outline a few additional policies that I've proposed that will help us continue to expand opportunities for all of our students. To start, one of the top challenges that I hear from businesses is that too many people lack the skills and supports that they need to enter and remain in the workforce. And businesses in my state are taking proactive steps to address this challenge. During a visit to Nashua Community College, for example, I heard more about the college's innovative work with a company called BAE Systems to help provide training and supports for prospective employees. One of the people we heard from that day was a young employee at BAE, I think he was 19 at the time, who said that at the end of his time in high school, because of a family situation, he didn't have stable housing. So he became increasingly worried about affording college. He feared that extensive student loan debt would make his future even more uncertain. But he heard about the BAE training program. So he entered it, went through it, and now he has stable housing and is saving for retirement. He looked at me and said, "Hey, Senator, I'm 19 years old and I have a retirement plan," which I thought was pretty neat. And now he's also looking to the future to further his education. We need to build on efforts like these. To address this need, I proposed the Bipartisan Gateway to Careers Act, which I introduced this Congress with Republican Senators Todd Young and Cory Gardner and Democratic Senator Tim Kaine. The Gateway to Careers Act would provide grants to support partnerships between community colleges and workforce development partners, such as state workforce development boards, industry associations, and community-based organizations. In addition to ensuring that curricula and workforce needs are aligned, these partnerships would help remove many of the barriers outside of the workplace that prevent too many people from completing a 2-year degree or occupational credential. The way the bill proposes to do this would be to connect students to support services like housing, mental health and substance use disorder treatment, assistance in obtaining health insurance coverage, career counseling, childcare, transportation, and other services. If I've heard one thing from employees and employers alike, it is in particular that transportation and childcare continue to be major, major barriers for so many of our students. By strengthening job training and support services, we can connect more people to the tools that they need to enter and succeed in our changing economy. Next, I also believe that we need to provide students with a whole range of opportunities even before they choose a post-secondary option that can prepare them for the future and ultimately make higher education more affordable for them. To give students more options, I introduced the Bipartisan Fast Track to and Through College Act, which will create a grant program to help expand and support high-quality early college programs. In states that receive the grant under this bill, students would be able to take as much as a full year of early college courses while still in high school. And the bill would help to ensure that students in early college courses actually receive college credit by requiring public colleges and universities to accept credit from qualified early college programs. This legislation would help challenge students academically, and it would also help save them time and money down the road on tuition. It can also serve as part of the comprehensive efforts that we have to take to reduce the burden of student debt and lower college costs. In addition to those two bills, I recently introduced legislation to support and expand innovative competency-based education programs. For students to be successful, we need to meet them where they are in life and recognize the way in which they learn. Competency-based education programs provide students with pathways to degrees through the mastery of relevant skills, rather than through the traditional accumulation of credit hours. This provides students with flexibility to balance their studies with work and family obligations, as well as the opportunity for accelerated and personalized learning that can save them time and money. In New Hampshire, competency-based education programs at institutions like Southern New Hampshire University have given students a way to achieve their degree in a manner that works with their learning style and their schedule. So the bill that I've introduced, which is called the Advancing Competency-Based Education Act, aims to expand these efforts at the federal level. By helping more higher education institutions establish and grow competency-based education programs, we can ensure that they can reach even more students and give them the tools and support that they need to reach their full potential. I also think it's pretty clear from What I've learned about competency-based education is that when people go through an education program like that, and when they get in the workforce, they are very, very well equipped to adapt and learn what the employer needs them to. The education experience has prepared them for that in really remarkable ways. Finally, in order to move all people forward, it's critical that we invest in students in every corner of our country. Too often, geographic and economic challenges in America's rural communities limit the bright potential of so many students. Rural students tend to graduate from high school at higher rates than their peers in urban districts and at about the same rate as their suburban peers. However, only 59% of rural graduates go straight to college, whereas 62% of urban graduates and 67% of suburban graduates do. To address this imbalance, last month I joined Republican Senator Susan Collins to introduce the Success for Rural Students and Communities Act. Our bipartisan bill would help build partnerships among local school districts, higher education institutions, and local businesses to encourage students to pursue higher education and help them navigate challenges, including finding financial aid and selecting a program that really meets their particular needs. Our bill would also help meet the needs of local economies by putting students on pathways leading to the high-need jobs that are available where they live, encouraging partnerships that include local employers so that students have access to educational programs that prepare them for the career opportunities in their local communities. In taking these steps forward, we can ensure that rural students in New Hampshire and across the country get the education that they need, both to expand their own opportunities and also to spur innovation and economic growth in their communities. There is no doubt that we have a lot of work ahead of us to ensure that our education system continues to innovate and prepare students for the future. So I'll continue working on a bipartisan basis to give students the tools and flexibilities that they need to be successful. And I am certainly grateful for the work of everyone here in taking a forward-thinking, innovative approach to addressing the needs of students and businesses as our economy changes and moves forward. By working together, we can eliminate the barriers that too many students face, and we can build a brighter economic future where everyone who works hard actually has the opportunity to get ahead and stay ahead, where we all thrive and flourish together. We can thrive as an economy and as a democracy. The two, of course, go hand in hand. Education in a free society based on the notion of individual equality, individual freedom and dignity, unleashes individual talent and energy. And that talent, that vision, resilience, and grit effectively deployed in a free and just society can be life-changing for the student, liberty-sustaining for our democracy, and a paradigm-changing for our economy. The fruits of a strong, accessible, and individualized education system are felt in big ways and small. Whether our students find new ways to combat climate change, protect our election systems, or cure Alzheimer's, they will amaze us with their creativity and their determination. Their achievements may be on a smaller scale, too. A smart engineer may find a new way to manufacture a critical airplane component at half the price, creating jobs and growth as she does. And a wise and compassionate nurse may bring comfort to a hospice patient. I honestly can't tell you which of these things is more important because obviously they all are. The American mission is to bring out the best in each other, and we are tested on a constant basis in our efforts to do that. Ultimately, we're true to our founding ideals only when we continue the process, generation after generation, of bringing marginalized people into the heart and soul of our democracy, of guaranteeing opportunity even if we can't, or maybe because we can't, predict what people will do with it. That practice requires a constant assessment of the realities of the lives that our citizens and our potential students lead, and a constant renewal of our commitment to the ideals that make this country great, that everyone with an opportunity can make a difference. You are all a critical piece of that work, and I am really grateful for it. I thank you again for inviting me to be here today. I look forward to working with all of you. I hope you will stay in touch with me and my office and my staff, because we are just incredibly interested and eager to do everything we can to empower the people that we all want to serve. Thank you so much for having me.